All right, let's get into it. We're going to talk about something, well, something that's totally flipping the script on one of the most normal parts of our lives, the corner store. This is the story of a company called LIFVS, and they're building these incredible, unstaffed, AI-powered supermarkets in places you would never expect.
I mean, just picture it for a second. Your local store, but with no staff at all. No cashiers, no one stocking shelves, no hello, how are you? Just you, your phone, and whatever you need any time of day or night. It sounds a little bit like science fiction, right? But for some communities, this isn't the future. It's happening right now.
And that right there, that's the key. This isn't just some cool tech gimmick. You just heard from a real customer, Emma Nilsson, who lives in a small Swedish village. For her and people like her, this technology is, well, it's a lifeline. It's literally the difference between having a shop in town and having nothing at all.
So, you gotta wonder, what created the need for something so radical? Well, to really get what LIFVS is doing, we have to back up and look at the problem that we're trying to solve. And it all starts with the unique landscape of rural Sweden. So, check this out. It's kind of wild. 97% of Sweden is considered rural land, but only about 19% of the people actually live there. So you have this huge, sprawling countryside with very few people in it. And if you're a business, well, that's a massive challenge. How do you serve customers that are so spread out? Let's turn back the clock a bit. In 1985, Sweden had about 8,500 supermarkets. Sounds pretty good, right? You'd think there were plenty of stores to go around, even in those rural spots we just talked about. But that number wasn't going to last.
Yeah, fast forward just 25 years to 2010, and that number had crashed to less than 3,500. Let that sink in. More than half the country's supermarkets just vanished. It's a stark picture of the immense economic pressure these local shops were facing.
So why do they close? It really boils down to simple economics, high costs. You can't afford to pay staff and keep the lights on if you only have a handful of customers. And the result? Entire communities were left high and dry in what we call food deserts. Suddenly, getting basic groceries meant a really long trip.
Okay, so that's the problem. A pretty big one, too. But you know how these things go. Sometimes the best solutions come from the simplest moments of inspiration. And the origin story for LIFVS? It's about as down-to-earth as it gets.
It all started with this. The co-founder, Daniel Lute, saw a farmer out in a field harvesting hay on a super hot day. And the guy had nowhere, literally nowhere nearby, to just go buy a cold drink. And that was it. That was the light bulb moment. Not some spreadsheet or market report, just seeing a thirsty guy who couldn't get a soda because the local store was gone. Daniel knew there had to be a better way.
And this is the solution he landed on, LIFVS. It's basically a 24/7 digital supermarket packed inside a shipping container, a whole store in a box. And the genius part is that it's portable. They can literally drop it right into the middle of those rural spots that bigger grocery chains left behind. All right, so that's the why, but what about the how? I mean, how on earth do you shop in a store that has 0 employees? Well, the answer is probably already in your pocket. The whole thing runs on a mobile app. From the moment you decide you want to shop to the moment you leave, it's all managed right on your phone. You can see the whole journey here. It's designed to be super simple, which is exactly the point. You want all this fancy tech to feel easy, you know? So here's how it works in 5 simple steps. 1, you download the app and register. For security, you link it up to Sweden's national banking ID. 2, you get to the store and boom, you unlock the door with your phone. 3, you just walk around, grab what you need, and scan the barcodes with the app. 4, when you're done, you just hit checkout in the app and it handles the payment. And 5, you use the app one more time to unlock the door and head out. That's it. Pretty slick, right? And the stores themselves are also pretty cool. First off, they're open 24/7. They've got around 500 essential items, milk, bread, the basics. Since they're containers, the company can actually pick them up and move them if one spot doesn't work out. And here's a neat little detail. For safety, they only let 2 customers in at the same time. Okay, the front-end experience for the shopper is really smooth. But what about the business side? How does this actually make money? This is where the real magic comes in. And it's all about the AI humming away behind the scenes.
Okay, keeping shelves stocked without any staff sounds impossible, right? But check this out. The AI is constantly watching the inventory. It knows in real time when, say, the milk is getting low. Then it automatically schedules a restock.
But here's the killer move. It groups together refills for a bunch of stores in the same area. This makes the whole process super efficient and directly tackles those crazy high costs that shut down the old stores. It's brilliant.
And on the payment side, it's just as seamless. The second you hit pay in the app, it processes the transaction. And at that exact same instant, it updates the inventory system. So the AI knows immediately that a carton of milk and a loaf of bread just walked out the door. It's this perfect automated circle. Now, your mind might be jumping to Amazon Go, which is fair, but there's a really important difference. Amazon stores use a ton of cameras and sensors to automatically track what you grab. LIFVS, on the other hand, makes you scan each item yourself. And that's not just a budget choice, it's a strategy. While Amazon goes for pure and visible convenience, LIFVS uses that scan as a chance to connect. The app might flash a recipe idea or offer you a special deal, creating a more personal shopping experience.
All right, let's pull back for the big picture. We've seen the problem, the clever solution, and the tech that makes it all work. So what's next? What are the hurdles, and what's the future for unstaffed stores like this?
And of course, there's the big question that everyone always asks. What about shoplifting? I mean, with no employees around, what's to stop someone from just taking stuff? And yeah, that's a totally fair question.
The founder, Daniel Luth, has a really interesting take on this. He says, look, you can't design your whole system around catching the tiny fraction of people who might steal. You have to build it to serve the 99% of people who are honest and who genuinely need the store to exist. It's a bet on trust, basically. Trust in the very communities they're trying to help.
Of course, LIFVS isn't the only player in the game. You're looking at the heavy hitters of the Swedish grocery world right now. Companies like ICA and Coop are huge. And guess what? They're also experimenting with their own staffless stores. So the heat is on. But LIFVS has a key advantage. They were born and bred for the specific rural market. It's in their DNA.
So, what's the game plan for this little Swedish startup? Well, it's pretty ambitious. First, they want to roll out hundreds more stores across Sweden. But the really massive opportunity? Licensing their technology. They want to sell their AI platform to other retailers all over the globe who are struggling with the exact same problem.
And that brings us right back to the beginning. What started with a simple observation, a thirsty farmer in a field, has turned into a whole new model for retail. Makes you think, doesn't it? As this idea spreads, you have to wonder, could a store with no staff be coming to your town next?